Hello, welcome to One Africa Mission with your brother Dobia Anzanse. Please, if you are new here, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, One Africa Mission, and also follow us on Facebook, One Africa Mission. We are missionaries. We are on a mission, and our mission is to bring back the dignity of the African, the African race. Our mission is to bring back the respect that the African deserve. And then we believe that without unity, without a united Africa, we can never gain back our dignity as a race. So please join us. It is a calling. Join us, One Africa Mission. You need to join this mission. Let us all fight for the unification of Africa. That is the only way we can live a proud Africa for the next generations. That is where the only way we can live an Africa where the African will be respected, will be dignified wherever he or she found herself on this planet Earth. So please join our mission. Let us all together fight for this unification of Africa. And as we talk about the reasons why we are talking about a united Africa, and most people don't understand, let us go and watch this video. This video about, I think it's Al Jazeera, an interview with a so-called ICC prosecutor, the International Criminals Court, because they are the criminals, the International Criminals Court. They are the criminals, and yet they are prosecuting so-called criminals. They leave the real criminals and they are prosecuting other people. Weaker criminals. They leave the powerful, if I may put it that way. They leave the powerful criminals and they are prosecuting the so-called criminals. And let us go and watch this video and see the rubbish he's sitting down there shamelessly vomiting out. The rubbish he's sitting down there shamelessly vomiting out. Let us go and watch the video. Come back and just analyze it. It's a very short video.
My job was to stop political leaders to committing crime. That was my job. That was controversial, of course.
So would you go after? So Africans might say, would you go after George W. Bush over what Kofi Annan called the illegal invasion of Iraq?
But the U.S. is not a member.
The U.S. is not a member.
I cannot.
The United Kingdom is a member.
United Kingdom, yeah. And
so would you prosecute Tony Blair?
If I have crimes to do, and if, two conditions: crimes committed and they are not conducting proceedings.
Well, they're not conducting proceedings in the UK.
They were conducting proceedings. Now,
there are no legal proceedings against Tony Blair in the UK.
No, not against Tony Blair, against lower level.
I'm asking about Tony Blair, head of state, to use Mahmoud's point.
That's the point.
Let's take an example. Britain is signed up. Tony Blair has been accused by many people of breaking international law.
Yeah.
Did you show any interest in prosecuting him when you were in charge?
We tried to collect information about the crimes committed, and we found no connection between Blair and the crimes, and we collected.
So you did investigate Tony Blair?
We conduct preliminary examination on that.
So you would if you had the evidence go after someone like Tony Blair, but you can't touch Vladimir Putin over Ukraine, you can't touch Hu Jintao over Tibet, you can't touch George W. Bush over Iraq. That's what you're saying, is it? How are you an international criminal court if you can't go over three of the most powerful nations in the world?
It's a beginning. It's like when you say,
so eventually we will be able to get the Chinese and the Russians and the Americans.
In 40 years will change, but it's the beginning.
It doesn't embarrass you, just come back to an earlier issue we were discussing, it doesn't embarrass you when the judge and the prosecutor issue these warrants, issue these summons, all of the people over the last 14 years have all been from the continent of Africa.
No.
Yeah, so as you can see, this shameless man called himself an international ICC prosecutor. And then he's been questioned, is the ICC mainly for African leaders? Was it created for African leaders? And in a layman, for my understanding, he was just saying yes, because if you listen to the end part of the interview, he's saying in 40 years to come, maybe things can change. So in a nutshell, we have been used as a text for the International Criminal Court. And you know, since this court was formed, they have indicted 52 people cases, and out of these 52 cases, 48 are Africans. Nobody from Western Europe, nobody from America. Even America is not even a signatory to it. Nobody from Russia, until recently. Nobody from China. So we are the only criminals. We are the only people committing crimes. It got nothing to do with criminality. It is about power. It is about power. There is nothing like justice or injustice. As long as you have power, you have justice. So this is the reason why we are calling on our African people. If we are not united, these people will continue to disrespect us. They will continue to use us as guinea pigs, as they always do. Because this international, so-called International Criminal Court, they are also using us as guinea pigs. Because look at him shamelessly talking about maybe in 40 years to come, their proceedings may change. The way they prosecute people may change. And it may involve the Western, the so-called powerful countries. So maybe 40 years to come, when he is long gone, maybe some American leaders may be prosecuted. Some British leaders, some French leaders may be prosecuted, even though they are the #1 criminals committing crimes on this planet Earth. And yet, the ICC, the so-called ICC, cannot prosecute them. And sometimes I wonder why we Africans, we always allow ourselves to be used by these people or these so-called international institutions. Because let's see this video where George Bush talk about a man brutally invading Iraq. He was gonna talk about Putin invading his neighbor Ukraine, but
the decision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of of Ukraine. Iraq, too. Anyway, 75.
Inside his subconscious, nature has exposed him because he know he's a criminal deep inside him. So instead of him to talk about Vladimir Putin invading Ukraine, he rather talk about a man invading Iraq. And who was this man invading Iraq? Was it not him? So this statement or this mistake, he goofed. This statement that he made alone should have sent the ICC to go pick him. But the ICC, they cannot do that. Why? Because America is powerful. Because America is not even a signature to it. But African countries that has never invaded any country on this planet. So what has made the ICC, the so-called ICC, an international criminal court? It is nothing but an imperialist criminals as usual who came out with this idea of prosecuting the people that they are oppressing. They came out with this court to prosecute the people that they are oppressing. We all know what they did in Libya. And none of them in Iraq, you can't count it. And yet, none of them the ICC has never gone for any of them. But we have 48 Africans who have been prosecuted by the ICC. Why? Out of 52 countries, it's only 4 people or 4 cases that are not related to Africa. The rest of the 40, we call African countries should boycott this ICC thing. Why? Like sometimes it's so disheartening, it's so annoying to see our leaders not waking up to this call. Why should America, who that always involved in war, are not signatory to the ICC? How come Britain is not a signatory? Britain is a signatory to the ICC, but no British leader has ever been prosecuted by the ICC. No French leader has ever been prosecuted by the ICC. Even though they have the power to invade other people, no African country has ever invaded any country, her neighbor, but yet our leaders or our people are the only people that have been prosecuted by the ICC. It is about time we boycott ICC. The African Union must boycott ICC. We don't need an African country to be part of it. It's an insult to us in this 21st century that we still allow people to use us as guinea pigs as they are doing. I thank you very much for coming around. please subscribe to our YouTube channel. As we keep saying, the only way we can bring an end to this, the only way we as African people can bring an end to this is to unite Africa. Because if we are powerful, nobody cannot bully us or match us into signing to institutions like the ICC, which has nothing good for Africa, or which is not an international criminal court, which is just which is nothing by an imperialist court, kangaroo court, that they sit down and decide who they should go and pick. But for they themselves, they can commit whatever crimes they want. Nobody cannot come for them. What kind of court is that? And you call it International Criminal Court. This is nothing. There's nothing international about this. So we call on the African Union to boycott it. All African countries who are signatory to the ICC, please get out of it. We can solve our problems internally. If we have criminals in Africa, we will prosecute them in Africa and jail them in Africa, so that they will have a dignified sentence rather than sending them to where they not belong. I thank you very much for coming around. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, One African Mission. We are on a mission. Please join the mission. We have a lot of work to do. We cannot talk all on social media, but we have a lot of work to do, and we have a lot of plans as to what we can do as this generation of Africans, to achieve what our forefathers couldn't achieve. So please join our mission, One African Mission. Contact us, share our content. Together, we can live a dignified Africa for the next generation. Thank you very much for coming around today.